Story 1. This is more of a localized problem in a lot of areas in the United States, but I think emergency medical services is going to fall apart. There are a few places that pay and treat their staff decently, but there are a lot of areas that aren't holding up, and the abuse is going to cause total collapses in emergency medical services systems. I moved across states not too long ago. The area I left was paying paramedics $15 to $17 per hour, and there are places getting over an hour for response times now. My new city isn't great either, and just had multiple ambulance services fold last year. The service I'm working for is funded by a hospital and is refusing to acknowledge that in 2 years, all their paramedics will be gone when we all graduate from nursing school. This is terrifyingly common across a lot of places in the United States at this point. The pay is terrible, and we're all burnt out on overtime that is often mandatory. It's not a job that I think will ever be phased out by technology, but it is becoming increasingly unstable to work in as a field, and tons of places are suddenly going to find themselves without an ambulance service. Story 2. I've been cooking professionally for 23 years. It used to be a lot of fun. It seems like no one in the equation, on any level from fine dining to fast food, is happy, especially the customers, even the owners. I don't think restaurants are going anywhere, but I'm not at all sure how it's going to move forward. Story 3. They said hotel front desk clerks will be automated, but people hate it. They want someone to complain to and try to bargain with. The only place it worked was for the coffin rooms in Japan. Coffin rooms are basically 4 by 4 by 8 foot slots with a bed, television, temperature control. You crawl in, go to sleep, and crawl out in the morning. They are cheap and plentiful. Story 4. Copywriters, people who write content or articles, as well as journalists and those who create websites, all contribute significantly to the online landscape. However, anything you publish online is often stolen within hours and reused on thousands of websites or utilized by individuals who employ artificial intelligence to generate content. People who still operate popular websites have reported a drop of 75 to 90% in site viewership from search engines. This decline is attributed to the fact that anything they write can be found on dozens of other websites that steal their content but have better search engine optimization. Story 5. Graphic designing, especially people who design logos. Recently, I have seen a lot of companies use artificial intelligence like ChatGPT-4 to design their company logos, even though the logos are uninspiring. But hey, profits, so I don't think they care at all. Story 6. Jobs like telemarketers, data entry clerks, and routine manufacturing roles are likely to disappear in the next decade due to automation and artificial intelligence advancements. Story 7. News producers will be replaced with bots. Hopefully, I make it to retirement, but that's 7 years away. I don't know what I'll do when it happens, but I'm definitely not feeling too much in the way of job security. Story 8. Niche artisans, the very last workers in their fields, continue practices as their ancestors traditionally did 100 years ago and are expected to cease within the next 10 years. That's all. A span of 10 years is minimal, and it's rare for jobs known to millions to disappear in such a short time frame. I understand that the United States has unique characteristics, leading to a different perception of work compared to other parts of the world. Here, there's a belief that workers have minimal rights. However, attempt to eliminate retail jobs and artistic roles in Europe and observe the outcome. Story 9. A lot of tech jobs. Don't get me wrong, tech is still very sophisticated, and there's a lot that artificial intelligence can't do, but that technology is getting so good so fast. I see most software developers shifting from writing their own code to just being really good at prompting large language models or working on large language models themselves. We have artificial intelligence being used for summaries on our code changes at our company. This tool does a perfect job within seconds, 99% of the time, writing a 10-line summary of more than 100 changed files that would take a developer 30+ minutes to skim through. We also have our own model trained on our own internal data, and again, we ask it to write some code about XYZ internal service. And boom, it does it no problem. Like not long ago, people were saying artificial intelligence won't replace us because it only knows what's on the public internet. Well, now it's being trained quite easily with private internal data also. And that's a problem for many jobs. Story 10. Any job that requires you only to give well-prepared answers, entry-level customer service, information technology help, receptionist. Those jobs will be easily replaced with artificial intelligence. You can actually replace entry-level customer service with ChatGPT right now if you want. Once the customer wants to do high-level, it will transfer to a real human. Story 11. I'm torn between not wanting it and being okay with it, but it seems cashiers are slowly disappearing. My local Walmart is currently down to about a quarter of employees running registers. Unless it was a dream, I vaguely recall that Amazon might have been launching some testing about an unmanned convenience store that was attached to a person's Prime membership. Story 12. Fast food cashiers. There have already been trial runs of staffless retail shops years ago. It will be a very long time before any food outlet will be unmanned. However, with the self-service screens and continuous advancement in robots and the software to integrate them, drive-thrus with no staff at all are a goal many companies see as attainable soon. Also, triage doctors potentially. Story 13. Voice actors, maybe actors in general because of artificial intelligence, including adult content, might see changes. Fishing and, in some areas of farming, are becoming more challenging because the world is becoming pretty much unusable in certain places. Where I live, rivers are drying up. It has barely rained in the last decade, and I haven't seen snow for some time either. Manual labor will be more and more needed, but many jobs might eventually cease to exist. As long as there is a tiny possibility that artificial intelligence will. Story 14. My profession is that I am a financial auditor. We charge a significant amount to certify a company's financial statements. We have rigorous standards to adhere to, and the accounting rules are becoming increasingly complex and less meaningful to the average business owner or nonprofit board. We rarely identify fraud, and approximately 5 to 10% of the time, we must perform a restatement on a prior year audit we had already certified as accurate. Story 15. Fast food clerks or salespersons. McDonald's is basically already doing that. It's only a matter of time before they fully commit to it, and everyone else follows suit. Story 16. I can agree with posters. I believe daily published newspapers are slowly disappearing. In Detroit, home delivery is available on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. A daily paper now costs $2.50, and they are often out of stock. The Sunday paper is the size of the daily paper in the 1950s and 1960s. The Thanksgiving paper is huge, costs $5, and has hardly any news, but we get to pay for all that advertising. TV news just doesn't cover local news because they've reduced news crews. One of the local papers costs $2.50 and prints maybe 16 pages. I hate to see my news source dry up, but even the local weekly papers are dying. Our local papers all print from the same plant, and a joint operating agreement has reporters sending their reports via computer. The days of a man pecking with 2 fingers at a typewriter with a cigarette in his mouth and 2 smoking in the ashtray are gone. City room and desk are now things of the past. I hate to read the news on my computer, but I guess that's what it's coming to. Goodbye, Daily Planet. Story 17. I'm pretty sure train drivers will be a profession of the past once the rail network is modernized and automation takes over. In many countries, train drivers go on strike over pay, and the economy can come to a halt, which has become a nuisance and made their position untenable. Story 18. Bushfire fighting is entering a new era with drones paving the way, and nothing will stand in their way. Plus, traditional methods such as tower man surveillance are being phased out in favor of drones, radar, and artificial intelligence reporting hotspots in real time. Drones for firefighting are already being trialed for both fire suppression and prescribed burning. I highly doubt that these trials will fail, given their advantages. They're cheaper, they never require rest or food, can reach fires more quickly, and are more reliable than humans. I have been a paid bushfire fighter for 30 years professionally in Western Australia. Mandaring Spotter Tower is being converted to radar for this upcoming fire season, since there are no personnel available to man it. The Yanchup Tower will be the next to see this change, with drones and satellite technology being employed this year instead of spotter planes for areas south of Perth. This transition is made for reasons of cost efficiency, safety, and reliability. Regarding drones, the eastern states trialed drones for firefighting last fire season. We are currently awaiting the evaluation report. Two overriding reasons for the changes are life, too many firefighter deaths have occurred, and financial considerations. All the information provided here is based on facts, not opinions. Please ensure to do your research. Although the transition of the spotter tower is happening quite discreetly, I am not sure if an official press release has been issued yet. Story 19. AI abilities grow exponentially, and if no regulations are carefully placed, job losses will also be exponential, but with a delay. Essentially, everything digital can and will be replaced with autonomous agents. This reminds me of a thought I once read. I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so I can do art and writing, not AI to do my art and writing so I need to do the dishes and laundry. Story 20. Real estate agent. It made sense before the internet era, as they had a book containing all the listings and contacts to make bookings. Now it's all done online. Story 21. I work in radiology and could see a large portion of our field being downsized due to automation and the use of artificial intelligence. The scanners already plan most of the exams as it is, and there are artificial intelligence detection tools that will flag suspicious lesions. In addition to that, automation creates faster throughput, which means more patients, which means more revenue. Story 22. Over-the-road trucker. Once autonomous trucks are perfected, the terminal-to-terminal driving will be done by artificial intelligence. The last mile will still be human-driven. Story 23. Libraries are great resources for the homeless and underprivileged kids, but they aren't valued like they were more than 20 years ago. I haven't been in one in years because I'm such a slow reader. I prefer to buy books and take my time with them, but I miss the days of being a kid and going wild with picking up educational books and children's fiction. Spending an afternoon or weekend burning through multiple books and getting lost in a good story. Story 24. I think we will be seeing the end of public libraries very soon. And it makes me so sad because of how beneficial they are and were, and how much time I would spend in them through my earlier years, especially during college. You go in a lot of them now, and they are just ghost towns. The one we have locally is about as modernized as one could imagine a public library could be these days, and they offer so many awesome things for kids and adults from day to day, literally giving out educational classes, activities, and seminars for free. You just have to show up. But people just are not using them, and I cannot imagine they are making any kind of income enough to justify the space and cost for keeping them going. Not with everything basically online for free or near free, rendering the resource kind of obsolete. Still, it makes me so sad to think that we will probably see the end of most public libraries a lot sooner than many think. Story 25. Some warehouse jobs. A friend was telling me about a new warehouse opening up without order pickers. It's going to have a receiving crew and loaders for the trucks, but the pallet selection is going to be automated.